you saw the difference of that veteran fighter who's been in that cage so many times and the young guy who was smoking everybody, but when he couldn't smoke someone, it was a little bit different story. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. I saw I don't want to say inexperience, but it was an experience.
You're right.
It was the inexperience of being in the main event and being against someone who is, fought the who's who in MMA. I mean, he's fought such really good guys, but he's been through the storm of everyone. Sometimes he's won, sometimes he's lost, but he's shaped himself now, like you said, with fighting a slower first round pace, not blowing himself out, and then like all of a sudden trying to like get his win the next 2, 3, 4 rounds. Like he looked a lot more like a matured fighter tonight. Derek Brunson did. Shahbazyan just needs more time. And what is he, 22?
Yeah, 22.
He's a baby. Like, I mean,
he is.
He's a baby. So it's like when you come down to it, I thought he looked good in the first round. But then Derek did. I think this is really what the game plan was for them to cruise the first round. Let's see what Shahbazyan had. Try to push him, press him, maybe press him against the fence, make him work. And then in the second round, pick it up a little bit, which he kind of did. And then the second round was just he ran away with it. The pressure of having to defend the takedowns, and Derek just has kind of a lull you to sleep type style. Like today was not normally, but today was like a lull you kind of to sleep a little bit. Lazy kicks, couple little lazy jabs, couple little lazy straight lefts. But then all of a sudden, boom, boom, explosiveness and a double leg, lift you in the air and slam you on your head. You're like, all right, what happened? Like, how did I end up here a second ago? And there was a guy a long time ago used to kind of do that to people. It was Hermes Franca. He would just lull you to sleep, and then big punches. Next, you're sitting, face down, ass up on the canvas, and so, but that style I think is probably going to end up working better for him because he just learns how to pace himself and uses explosiveness when he needs to. But I thought, definitely what you saw is what I saw was the inexperience of Shahbazyan and fighting a top level guy and the little tricks of the trade that the veterans have. And he was able to use that. And it was just the pressure. It was the punch, drop down on the legs, couldn't get it, make him work, come up with elbows, back to punching, back down when Shahbazyan wanted to throw. That kind of setups. I mean, those things, they drive young fighters crazy because they don't know what to do. Do I fight? Do I try and get off? Do I start stuff to take down? What do I do? There's a lot of things that go through their mind during that time. And the whole time they're getting tired.
Yep. Well, and also it's that there's an added pressure that comes with as you get into, you're on the main card. Now you're the main event. You're the one carrying the show. And I think you saw that pressure actually get, because there's no doubt that Shahbazyan's in condition. He's in shape, but he gassed.
Oh yeah.
And he gassed for 2 reasons. Part of it was the pressure and the way that Derek Brunson was coming at him at times and making him carry his weight at times when they would get into the clinch. And I think the other part was it was just that next step. And, you could describe what it's like to be the main event when you're young, that first time. Tell me there's not pressure. Yeah. There's a ton of pressure, and people just don't realize that you're in shape, but there's an adrenaline dump, and sometimes you'll get past it and sometimes you won't. It'll just make you feel like you're exhausted. So
yeah, I think Derek also is one of those guys that when he gets on top of you, I bet you he just feels real heavy. Yeah, has that heavy hip pressure, heavy wrestling type pressure, just sag on you a little bit. The way his body is built, he looks like he's real thick around the trunk, got thick legs, and like I've wrestled with guys like that, and it's always felt like, you just can't get off the bottom. That's what goes through your minds. Ugh. It's like, every time Dave talks, I just go, ugh. It's like that. It's like that feeling. Like, it's like Dave here having to listen to Dave talk. Ugh, the pressure.
But that was honestly one of the most impressive performances by Derek Brunson. And look at, he, like you said, he's fought the who's who in the middleweight division. He fought Anderson Silva, fought Whitaker, fought Yoel Romero. Look, he was beating Yoel Romero for a lot of that fight.
I was gonna say that.
A lot of that fight, he was beating Yoel. So he's been in there with all of the guys that have been in that division. There's very few guys that were in the top of the division that he didn't get to fight.
Yeah.
But, he was doing things at times you looked and you go, man, you're just taking too many chances. You're extending, you're giving openings. He didn't really do that at all in this fight. Very composed, just an outstanding performance. Really impressive at now the age of 36. He's learning more.
Yeah.
And he's becoming a better fighter.
Yeah. He's been around for a while too. Cause I remember he was in Strike Force when I was there at the same time. So yeah, a lot of these guys, like, look, Bobby Green tonight too. Same thing.
Bobby Green looked good.
Bobby Green looked really good.
Bobby Green looked good.
Yeah. I mean, I saw his last fight against Clay Guida I watched, and I was like, yeah, you look, you're good. I feel like he's coming to his own, and he has. I mean, he has been. He just never really, I think he's been on the bad end of some decisions, and he's just one of those fighters. I think what happens is the whole talking to the fighter sometimes can work for you when in the judge's eyes, and then talking to the fighter, I think sometimes can work against you in the judge's eyes, because it depends on which judges you get. If you're like, oh, that didn't land, the judge is probably thinking to myself, that shit landed. That shit hurt you.
I can guarantee you, man, if your opponent throws a shot and it touches you, and then you start talking like that didn't hurt, you start shaking your head, the judge is going, yep, that's why you're acknowledging it. It hurt. You can't do it. There's things that you got to get past.
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell, your opponent, oh, that didn't hurt. Yeah. Just throw a punch back and punch him in the face. That's your way of saying that didn't hurt. So.
He did that a little bit tonight, but he was on the upper end of landing this stuff. Sorry.
Oh, he was way ahead. And I love Lando. He is he's talented, man. He's so fluid in transitioning from one element to the next. It just he was getting hit with the way heavier shots throughout the fight. And it just started to take a toll and slow him down some. But he was in it the whole time. And he's a good fighter.
I love watching him fight.
100% agree.